afternoon, whatever time of the day it is. Hello to you. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Jessa. If you're new here, I make a lot of videos about my life as a mid-30s mom. I do a lot of things like reading and taking my kids to the library or the park or sewing. I was a former women's denim designer turned stay-at-home mom. I moved out here from California to Utah, and I just had my second baby in July. I've been posting every single day on YouTube for Vlogtober, so if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can stay up to date in all the things that I'm up to. Today, I took my kids to play and learn at the library, but I also had a bunch of books that were ready to be picked up, so I thought I would go over them with you. I picked up, I think, 2 today, or 3 today, and then the other 3 I had already that I picked up like earlier this week. The first one that I'm going to show you is the one that I'm currently in the process of reading. This is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett. This is the second book in the Emily Wilde series. I think there's also going to be a third book. I had already picked this up from the library back in, I want to say March or April when it had first come out, and I only got to page 49 and then I had to return it back to the library because I ran out of time to finish it. So I'm back at it again. I'm literally only on page 17 because it's just taking me so long to get into the story. I keep getting interrupted or having to stop and like do something else, and so whenever I pick it back up, I have to like reread it from the beginning because I just can't seem to remember what it's about. As I'm reading it, I'm definitely remembering some things that happened, but like I said, I just like need a moment to get through the story. So in the first book, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, she is working through this encyclopedia that she is writing on the fairy realm and like the fairy folk. And in this book, she has already completed that encyclopedia, and now she's working on a map of the Otherlands, which is the map of fairy realm. And in this one, she's working with Wendell Bambleby, which is her colleague slash boyfriend. It's kind of like, it's a little bit weird because at the end of the first book, Wendell proposes to Emily and she doesn't give him an answer. And it's kind of like, are they or aren't they? Because honestly, in the whole first book, it wasn't like they were acting like boyfriend and girlfriend, or like, it wasn't like he was like courting her necessarily. But it was like obvious that they had feelings for each other. So it's a very, very, very slow burn, this romance, but it's obviously more of like a fantasy than like a romance book. But in this book, she's working on the map of the Otherlands, and she's also trying to help Wendell find the door to his realm, because he is actually a fairy king, and his mom is sending assassins out to murder him. Emily has to help Wendell avoid all of these like fairy assassins and then also find his door, as well as work on this map of the Otherlands. I'm really, really hoping that today is the day that I can actually get a really big chunk of this book finished. If I could get at least like even a third of this book done, I would be really, really happy. It's just like, honestly, for me, whenever I start a book, getting to the first 50 pages is like the hardest part. And then once I get there, I feel like I read a lot faster and I can get through the book quicker. But I just keep getting interrupted and it's just not working out for me. I have until October 25th to finish this, but I have so many other books, like I definitely need to finish this way, way sooner than that. So as long as I can finish it by this weekend, I'll be happy. The next book that I have on my list is Summer's End. This is a Shady Hollow mystery book. This is, I believe, the 4th book. I'm not entirely sure if this is the last book in the series because they haven't come out yet saying whether or not they're going to write another one. I really, really hope that they continue on with this series because it's such a good series. I really love this series because it is so low stakes, but it's still intriguing because it's a mystery, and it's just like a big warm hug reading these books. So if you're looking for like a good cozy read for autumn, I definitely think you should pick up the Shady Hollow mystery series. So in this series, you're following Vera Vixen, who is a reporter for the local newspaper. She is originally from the city, but she moved to Shady Hollow, which is like a smaller woodland town. And since moving there, she has encountered various investigations that she has become involved in and helped solve. And in this one, it's the same thing. She has volunteered to be a chaperone for a field trip to a tomb called Summer's End. And when she gets there, she discovers a body, because she always does, that is a little bit newer than like all the other bodies that are in the tomb. And so she finds out that the body is actually of someone who was recently working on the excavation site and was not somebody that was popular within the group. So now her and her friend Lenore, who's a raven, need to work together to figure out who the killer is, because they thought they could get away with it by putting the body in a tomb, which makes sense, but also not so clever. All of the other Shady Hollow books I've been able to get through like really quickly. These are really fast reads. There's a lot of dialogue and the story just picks up so quickly. One of the things that I really like about this series is that because it's very like small town and it's very cozy, they always mention like the local cafe or the local coffee shop, and whenever they describe the drinks and the pastries, they make it sound so yummy. So if you ever decide to pick up a Shady Hollow book, make sure you have like your tea or your coffee and some sort of pastry ready, because you're gonna want to have like the full experience when you're reading this book. I've noticed that I've been reading a lot of books that are part of a series, which I like. I definitely enjoy following characters that, you know, I've had a connection with, that I like really love. And the third book that I have to show you is another book that's in a series. This is Blackmail and Bibingka. This is by Mia P. Manansala, and this is the third book in the Tita Rosie's Kitchen Mystery series. I just finished number 2, which was Homicide in Hollow Hollow, which was really fun. That one was super fast paced. So in number 3, we are following Lila Macapagal again and her family. In this story, Lila's cousin Ronnie comes back after like ghosting the family for like 15 years. The town in this book is Shady Palms. The town in this book is Shady Hollow. So there's a lot of shady things going on. Anyways, so Ronnie's come back into town after purchasing a winery and letting everyone know that the winery is doing really well, and now he wants to come back to Shady Palms and like recontribute to the city and like come be with his family again. And so of course Lila has some like trust issues and resentment towards her cousin, but when rumors come out that there's a possibility that Ronnie could be responsible for a murder, she has to work with him in order to prove that he is innocent. In similarity with Shady Hollow, where like Vera is not like the police, she's not a detective, she's a reporter, but she's still like solving crimes. It's the same thing in this series as well, where Lila is not in the workforce, she's not in the police force, she's not a detective, she's not even a reporter, she works at a cafe, she bakes pastries basically. But since the first book, she has been working with the detective very closely when her family members are all involved in these investigations. The running theme of this series is that she is helping to prove the innocence of whatever family member is being accused of a murder at the time, and this time it's her cousin Ronnie. I loved the first 2 books. I think they're such good mysteries. I am always thrown off. I always have like my top 2 suspects, and then it's none of them. It's no one that you suspect at all. It's someone that's like in the background, like far, like just like a one-off character that you're like, yeah, they seem like nice. They're not nice. I think this time around when I'm reading this, I'll probably keep an eye out more on all of these other side characters and try to figure out if I can figure out who the killer is before it's revealed. This is another mystery where a lot of food is involved. Obviously, it's following her tita's restaurant, so there's a lot of Filipino food involved, but because Lila works at this cafe and she's like the pastry chef, there's a lot of baked goods that make an appearance. They all have like a Filipino spin on them. In all of the Tita Rosie's Kitchen Mystery books, there are recipes at the end of the book that you can follow if you want to make like the same things that they talk about in the book. So in this one, we have a champurrado recipe. We have Lola Flor's bibingka. We have Lila's salabat snickerdoodle squares. and then Xander's Coquito. This is book number 3, and I think in total there are 5. So I'm very excited to get through this entire series, and another one that I'm like, I hope they just continue making more. Or I'm interested to see if this author will come out like with a second series, because I do really like her writing. This is one of the books that I picked up today. This is This Spells Love by Kate Robb. I don't know anything about this book. I pretty much saw a list of all the witchy romances and this book came up. So of course I'm all about a witchy romance. So let's read the synopsis together. When Gemma gets dumped by her long-term boyfriend, I swear the amount of books that I've read where the beginning starts with a breakup is like, I've lost count. Anyways, when Gemma gets dumped by her long-term boyfriend, she reacts the way any responsible 28-year-old would, by getting drunk with her sister, her kooky aunt, and her best friend Dax. After one too many margaritas, they decide to perform a love cleansing spell that promises to erase Gemma's ex from her memory. They follow all the instructions, including a platonic kiss from Dax, to seal the deal. Waking up the next morning, Gemma realizes that the silly spell has worked far too well. Not only does it seem that she never dated her ex, but the rest of her life is completely unrecognizable. The worst part, Dax has no idea who she is. To reverse the spell and get back to her old life, Gemma must convince her once best friend, now total stranger, to kiss her. But as she carries out her plans, she finds herself falling for Dax hard. Soon, Gemma begins to wonder whether she wants to go back to the way things once were. What if Dax was the one all along? Okay, fun. So kind of like a mix-up of like The Vow, but like make it magical, and also Friends to Lovers. Sounds like a good one. Hopefully I can finish this by, well, I have to finish this by Halloween because it's due on November 1st. The next one that I have is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I've heard so many people talk about this book and how much they love it. And I think they just came out with the sequel. So I wanted to make sure that I read it because I already put the sequel on hold at the library as well. This is another one that I have no idea what it's about, but it looks very cozy and very like whimsical. It says, a magic island, a dangerous task, a burning secret. Linus Baker is a by-the-book caseworker in the Department of Change of Magical Youth. At 40, he lives in a tiny house with a devious cat and his old records for company. But his quiet life is about to change. Linus is summoned by extremely upper management and given a curious and highly classified assignment. Travel to an orphanage on a distant island and determine whether 6 dangerous magical children are so dangerous, in fact, that they're likely to bring about the end of days. When Linus arrives at the strangest of islands, he's greeted by a series of mysterious figures, the most mysterious of which is Arthur Parnassus, the master of the orphanage. As Linus and Arthur grow closer, Linus discovers the master would do anything to keep the children safe, even if it means the world has to burn. Or worse, his secret comes to light. This book is 396 pages. Ooh, this one's the thickest book that I have out of all of these ones. So hopefully I can read this quickly. But it seems like a book that has a lot of dialogue. So hopefully I can get through it pretty quickly. So good luck to me. Let me know if you read it. And then the last book that I have is 12th Night. I recently picked this up after watching Shaughnessy Schroeder's, one of her like recent videos, and she was talking about this book and how it's a YA novel, but it's not written in a way that makes you think it's a YA novel. But the main reason why I was sold on this is because it's about a girl who is in gaming, and I'm a gamer girl. Not a very like good one. I'm a very like new gamer girl. I play a lot of Dreamlight Valley and Hogwarts Legacy, but mostly I just like to fly around and pop the balloons and make potions and do any of the foraging, and that's about it. I'm a cozy gamer, and so I thought that this would be a good book to pick up considering that it was revolved around gaming. But other than that, I have no idea what else it's about. This guy on the cover looks like he's injured. He's got like a messed up knee or something like that, and looks like maybe he is prom king and also on the football team. Who knows? No idea. Let's read it. Viola Reyes is annoyed. Her painstakingly crafted tabletop game campaign was shot down. Her best friend is suggesting she try being more likable, and her school's star running back, Jake Orsino, is the most lackadaisical student body president she's ever seen, which makes her job as VP that much harder. The MMORGP 12th night. But online spaces aren't exactly kind to girls like her, girls who are extremely competent and have the swagger to prove it. So Vi creates a masculine alter ego, choosing to play as a knight named Cesario to create a safe haven for herself. But when a football injury leads Jack Orsino to the world of 12th Night, Vi is alarmed to discover their online alter egos, Cesario and Duke Orsino, are surprisingly well matched. As the long nights of gameplay turn into discussions about life and love, Vi and Jack soon realize they've become more than just weapon-wielding characters in an online game, but Vi has been concealing her true identity from Jack, and Jack might just be falling for her offline. Oh, this kind of reminds me of like Cinderella's story when Sam is texting, what is his name? Princeton Boy? Yeah. When Sam is texting Princeton Boy and she finds out that it's, you know, the popular kid. It kind of reminds me of that. Even though they didn't meet like through gaming, they kind of like met online. So those are all the books that I have. Hopefully I can finish them all this month. That's the goal. They're all due towards the end of the month. I think these 3 are like due on the 25th, and then these are due on November 1st. So I have some time. It does feel like when I'm holding them all, it does feel a little bit daunting saying that I'm gonna get through 6 books. But I know I can do it. I've done it before. I've read 6 books in 1 month before. I kind of feel like maybe right now I have like a little bit of a reading slump, but I don't know if it's just because I have been so busy lately that I haven't been able to like nail down some time to really get through some reading, or if it's actually like I don't really feel like reading. I can't really tell the difference between the two right now. So hopefully I can get through all of these. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books or if any of these are on your TBR, and if you have any other suggestions of books that you think I would like based off of these books, please leave them in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.